Hello YouTube. About a month ago, I made a video explaining why I don't support the idea of equality of opportunity. The response to that video was mixed, with some people expressing agreement, others disagreement, some saying they both agreed and disagreed, but in any case I felt there was enough confusion about my position to warrant a second video on the topic. Then, one of my longtime subscribers made a response to my video. Given that this is the first video response I have ever had, and I plan to make a second video anyway, I just have to reply to this video. Plus, he makes a lot of points similar to those made by people in my comment section, which means by responding to him, I can in a sense respond to everyone at once. So let's get into it. The video is by Joel the Mole.
So, I've just seen a video by Positive Improvement in which he compared the equality of opportunity to the equality of outcome. And so this is my response. So, I personally feel like he's, I would say misrepresenting, but I doubt he's actually, he's not really doing it. I feel like he's incorrect on what the equality of opportunity is.
Thanks for giving me the benefit of the doubt. I appreciate it.
So the equality of opportunity is the idea that everyone has the same starting place.
Yep, that is the idea I don't support.
And what he's saying is that people just don't receive any kind of help or whatever. So he gives the example of a middle class child who's of half decent intelligence, and he goes to a good school and he's an only child and he's got all the resources he needs, compared to a lower class child in a really crappy neighborhood going to a really crappy school, but he's extremely intelligent, and obviously the middle class child is going to do better. But that's not equality of opportunity.
No, obviously not. I presented that example so I could use it to show how I would fix it differently from how someone who focused on equality of opportunity would fix it.
What equality of opportunity would be to do what you can to make sure they're on the same starting ground. So for example, they would be getting good teachers, and instead of allocating good teachers to certain schools, they would try to get teachers of the same quality amongst all the schools. So the kid here is doing the same kind of work with the same teachers, and so is the kid there.
So that is an excellent example of how someone would try to fix that problem using equality of opportunity. I'll use that example to further outline my problem with this philosophy. First off, where are you setting the bar? You hold your hands out on the same level, but how do you decide on the level? Do you try to get excellent teachers everywhere? Well, that's not realistic. Some places are just going to have worse teachers than other places. And if I'm a great teacher, why would I choose to work in the inner city where students have a lot of problems when I could work in the suburbs where kids are more well-behaved and motivated? Are we going to somehow scale the pay of teachers based on the neighborhood of the school? Are we going to transfer teachers against their will to bad neighborhoods? Looking at it in this way just presents all sorts of problems. And even if you manage to get the suburban kid the same quality of teaching as the inner city kid, they'll both likely be receiving worse teaching than some rich kid in an even nicer neighborhood. See, to actually make everyone's education equal, you either have to bring everyone up to the highest level, which is unrealistic, or you have to bring the people at the top down to a middle level while raising up the people at the bottom, all to achieve this idea of equality. And besides all that, when I created my example, I specifically included education as a bit of a honeypot for equality advocates, because that's something you might be able to make equal. Also included in that example was that the inner city kid had a father in jail, a mother on drugs, and lived in a high crime neighborhood, whereas none of this was true for the suburban kid. How would you go about making these kids' situations equal when talking about those factors? So what a focus on equality has done is made you jump first and foremost to the aspect that can most easily be solved with a focus on equality. If instead you looked at what can be done in general to remove barriers for success for the inner city kid, you might be more worried about the drug and crime situation. A focus like that might lead me to advocate for different drug laws or drug enforcement so that kids like that can grow up with a father and a mother not on drugs and live in a neighborhood not ravaged by crime. Doing that might lead to better teachers being willing to work in the schools, and the education problem might just solve itself.
And that's basically what it is. Now, he does go on to say how the equality of outcome is basically the idea of getting like a teacher and another teacher, and like all the different barriers between those two. For example, the kids like crappy neighborhood and stuff, and trying to remove that as far as he can. But that's giving them both the same starting place in life.
I think you must have misunderstood me. You seem to think I'm advocating for a focus on equality of outcome, when in fact I'm arguing against any social change focused on equality.
Which is affecting equality of opportunity, because opportunity is your starting place. Changing the equality of outcome would be saying, oh, well, you come from a crappy place, so we're just going to double your exam results. You're going to have twice as good a grade as you would have gotten normally. Like, can you see how that would be saying, oh, well, we're not changing the way you start, we're changing the way you finish. Whereas what Positive Improvement described as changing the end, which is getting him to the same starting point, is just giving him the same starting point and changing the equality of opportunity. So they both have equality of opportunity.
Joel, what I'd like you to get out of your head, at least when talking about my position, is this whole idea of the same starting point. I wouldn't be holding my hands at equal levels like that when describing my viewpoint. What I call a focus on fairness could easily be called a focus on justice or equity. I just find fairness the easiest thing to understand for most people. You are correct, however, that I was talking about opportunity, just not equality of opportunity. The fact is, no matter how hard you try, you're never going to get everyone to the same starting point in life. Even if you lived in a complete totalitarian state that controlled every person's every move, people have different personality traits and innate abilities. And this is why this is not just a semantic argument I'm making, as several people in my comments suggested. The words we use are important. If you're talking constantly about equality, it will cause you to focus on different problems, different solutions, and different desired outcomes than if you're looking at, say, removing barriers, or justice, or fairness, or equity. Now, I will say that in many cases, the solution I'd advocate for would probably be the exact same one as an equality advocate, but that's not always the case, and the ways we would differ can often be very important. Let me also further clarify my view in that I would not only focus on removing barriers for the people who have it the worst, but also by removing loopholes that give others an unfair advantage. So we can have a healthy debate about what is and is not fair, and whether something is or isn't a barrier, whether something has a loophole or not, or what should be focused on first. I just don't want that debate framed around the idea of equality, because I don't think it's useful to organize your efforts around an impossible utopian idea. Now, Joel does go on in his video to give a good explanation of the difference between equality of opportunity and equality of outcome, but since I agree with him on that and it's not actually relevant to my point, I've cut that part out. You can watch his full video in the link down below. But Joel, thank you for making this video response. I encourage you to do so again, and the same goes to anyone else who watches my content. I'm happy to share any response someone does to one of my videos, even if I don't choose to respond to it myself, and even if the video is just bashing and insulting me. I love when people engage with my ideas. That's what makes these videos worth the effort. So I hope this video helped to clarify my views on this topic, and if I'm missing something or you think I'm wrong, I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments or in a video response. So until next time, I'm Positive Improvement, and I wish you all the best.